The Euphrates River finally dried up, but now something has emerged. A historically important river dried up, leading to the discovery of something new. Wait, this is not a storyline of a high-budget Hollywood action movie. This actually happened when the longest river in Asia, the Euphrates, dried up. So, what was that unexpected thing? Let's dive into this video. But before we begin, here's a quick knowledge test. What civilization exists between the rivers Tigris and Euphrates? Comment your answer below. And if you are interested in more such underwater or water discoveries, then subscribe now. Here we begin with our video. The Euphrates is Western Asia's longest and most historically significant river. It is one of Mesopotamia's two defining rivers, along with the Tigris. The Euphrates River flows from Turkey through Syria and Iraq to join the Tigris in the Shatt al-Arab, which empties into the Persian Gulf. While world leaders gather in Egypt for a climate summit to address issues such as water and food supplies, many in Iraq and the Middle East face a crisis that could exacerbate regional unrest as communities compete for dwindling water resources. Climate change is a reality in Iraq, the UN mission in the country said, adding that the country is the world's fifth most vulnerable to the effects of global warming due to rising temperatures, lower rainfall, salinity, and dust storms. According to officials and water experts, the rains in Iraq have arrived later and ended earlier in each of the last 3 years. The country is a part of the Fertile Crescent, a region stretching from the Mediterranean to the Gulf, where farming first appeared over 10,000 years ago. Today, Iraq is far less fertile due to a triple blow of lower rainfall, decades of conflict, and less water flowing through its two major rivers, the Tigris and Euphrates. Desertification now threatens nearly 40% of our country's area, a country that was once one of the most fertile and productive in the region. President Abdul Latif Rashid said last week at the Cairo Climate Summit. Rainfall in Turkey's southeast, where the Tigris and Euphrates meet, was 29% lower than the previous three-decade average, and it will be even lower in 2021, according to data from Turkey's meteorological agency. According to the UN Food and Agriculture Organization in Iraq, nearly 90% of rain-fed crops, primarily wheat and barley, failed this season. Nevertheless, Iraq could produce nearly 5.5 million tons of wheat by 2020. According to the Reuters news agency, the government received $2.1 million from the organization last year. According to tribal leaders and Iraqi officials, water competition is fueling disputes and conflict among farming communities in southern Iraq. Standing by an almost dry canal branch, tribal leader Maqsad Rahim recalled how it used to be full of clear water. There are so many sandstorms now because there aren't any plants or trees to protect us, he explained. Let's talk more about the Euphrates River. What was there before Babylon? Gudea, the ruler of the ancient city of Lagash between the rivers, is a product of Sumer, southern Mesopotamia's oldest known civilization. By the time this likeness of Gudea was created, Sumer, which emerged in the 4th millennium BC, had flourished culturally and commercially for millennia, and had been resurrected following the conquest by the Semitic-speaking Akkadian Empire. The statuette is made of expensive diorite, most likely from Magan, Oman. The rivers are depicted in this map of northern Mesopotamia by the Persian geographer al-Istakri from the 10th century. With 1,850 kilometers, the eastern Tigris is faster and shorter. Its name comes from the Sumerian word Idigna, which means swift river. The Euphrates River is 2,800 kilometers long, and its name may mean wide flowing water or good to cross. By the Babylon Rivers. Two visions of Babylon demonstrate the Euphrates' significance to the city. This clay tablet depicts the Tuba suburb, including a river branch and two gates. Cuneiform, a Sumerian writing system, appears on the reverse. Babylon began as an Akkadian town and grew to become the world's largest city, possibly peaking in the 6th century BC under Nebuchadnezzar II, under whose reign this tablet was made. The Babylonian territory is cut up into channels, and the largest is navigable for ships and runs from the Euphrates to another river, namely the Tigris, wrote Herodotus. The Euphrates and Tigris are mentioned in the Bible for the first time in Genesis, when a river flows out of Eden to water the garden, where it divides and becomes 4 rivers. The Tigris, which flows east of Assyria, is the 3rd river after the Pishon and Gihon. The Euphrates is the 4th river. In the book of Revelation, the 6th angel demands the release of the 4 angels who are bound at the great river Euphrates, a scene depicted in this manuscript, after which the river is dried up, that the way of the kings of the east might be prepared. The course of the Euphrates. The river is about 2,780 kilometers long. It is formed by the confluence of 2 branches, the Kara, western Euphrates, which rises in the Armenian highlands of today's eastern Turkey north of Erzurum, and the Murat, eastern Euphrates, which rises southwest of Mount Ararat and north of Lake Van. The upper reaches of the Euphrates flow southeast through Syria and Iraq, through steep canyons and gorges. In eastern Syria, the Kabur and Balik rivers join the Euphrates. Both rivers originated in Turkey. However, the Euphrates receives no further water flow downstream along its length. Instead, the river joins the Tigris north of Basra in southern Iraq to form the Arvand Shatt al-Arab, which empties into the Persian Gulf. The river used to split into numerous channels at Basra, forming a vast marshland, but Saddam Hussein's government largely drained the marshes in the 1990s to drive out the rebellious marsh Arabs. The drainage policy has been reversed since the 2003 invasion of Iraq, but it remains to be seen whether the marshes will recover. The Euphrates is only navigable by very shallow draft boats that can reach as far upstream as Shatt, Iraq, and only 53 meters, 58 yards, above sea level. However, above Shatt, shoals and rapids render the river commercially impassable. Its annual inundation, caused by snowmelt in northeastern Turkey's mountains, has been mitigated partly by new dams and reservoirs in the upper reaches. In addition, an 885-kilometer canal connects the Euphrates and Tigris rivers, providing a route for river barges. Wonder where? Babylon learned and wise hath perished utterly, nor left her speech one word to aid the sigh that would lament her, wrote William Wordsworth. The Hanging Gardens, supposedly built by Nebuchadnezzar for his wife, Amytis of Media, are depicted in this 18th century print. The gardens differ from the other 7 wonders of the ancient world in that their exact location has never been determined, and no Babylonian text mentions them, according to the poet. Over your cities, floods will flow. A plentiful water supply also brings risks. This Persian miniature depicts Baghdad suffering from flooding. At the top of the illustration, a citizen attempts to climb onto dry land, while others struggle in the water. Hulegu Khan sacked the city in 1258, destroying the canals, dikes, and irrigation system. Despite being rebuilt, the city remains vulnerable. Flooding caused a state of emergency in 2015. What do you think of the Euphrates drying up? Also, the answer to the question we have asked is Mesopotamia. Comment your views in the comment section below, and make sure to subscribe for more such videos.